streaming, maybe. I don't know if I'm streaming. I guess I'm streaming. If anyone's in chat and can see me or hear me, let me know. I don't even know. Oh my god, someone is there. Well, that's cool. I was not expecting that. Does the audio actually work for you? Like, can you actually hear me? Does it sound alright? Oh my god. It's the future of the world. Communicating with people. Yeah, I just ended up getting a webcam, figured I'd start streaming. I was doing it on Twitch, but then I realized it's probably better here. So for this faction, I think what you want to do, if you have Iron Gut, you would use him. But since we're trying to get his attack up, I'm definitely using Chief Dargon to do that. The only thing I don't like about this team that I'm using is that I'd rather him be in the top slot, but I need mana generation. I could swap these, but this guy's gonna die really, really fast once I get into higher levels. So I think it's one of those things where this is about as optimal as I'm really gonna be able to put together. But this team theoretically should be able to work all the way up to level whatever, because it should scale. It gets him attack and ingests people. This guy's cursing people, so it should work. That's awesome, man. I really appreciate that. And the fact that you're the first person to watch me go live, that's it's pretty sick. I really appreciate the support, dude. Yeah, the nice thing about this team is that the Sledgehammer over there is going to be cursing people, so whenever there's someone who's immune to Devour, I don't have to worry about it. I can just eat them anyway. It'd be better if I could use someone that curses all, but I mean, this will work in general. I don't love this team, but it's kind of hard. So like, you know, my eat percent is like 53, so fortunately I get it anyway, but it'd be much better if the team was actually set up to be doing better stuff. But I like this guy because when you cast Sledgehammer like that, you can tell he's like cursed and stunned and bleeding at this point, so I mean, even if he was immune, I could just eat him anyway. So I think this team's going to be very good. What I've noticed about this delve is that there's that one troop that'll actually insta-kill you, potentially. So that's one thing you gotta keep your eye open for. I got insta-killed out of nowhere, so that was a nice lessons learned on that. But, I mean, in general, this delve hasn't been too bad. Granted, I'm still at the early stages. For whatever reason, I was putting off actually doing it. Trying to mess around with the new mythic more, admittedly. I have a team with the new mythic that I like. It's just kind of glass cannon-y. Like, it'll work really well when it works, but when it doesn't work, it's not as fun. It doesn't really have a lot of options besides just blasting people to death. So there's kind of a downside to that. I do think he's good, though. He's definitely better than Stonehammer was. I cannot believe that did not work. Oh my lordy. 88% chance. Let's just make it 100 for fun. Alright. Now we eat. Rooster is back on the menu, boys. And let's eat you before you cast something. Because I don't want to figure out what that was going to be. And eat you. And everybody's happy. So that's cool. Yeah, it seems like YouTube's going to be better for streaming since I already have somewhat of an audience there. At least I have some people subscribed to me, so when I go live, I imagine people are getting notifications for that, or at least can see it. So this might actually be the better platform for me to stream on than Twitch was. Ethereal Ethereal Sentry, Gimlet. Yeah, I mean, that's like a very solid lineup in general. The one thing that's a little tougher with that kind of lineup is that your mana generation is not necessarily going to be as fast, but that's totally going to work. Mang is always dependable. Like, you can't go wrong with a good Mang lineup. It's always going to work. Like, it's kind of the old faithful of delving. I have to actually look up what Ethereal Sentry does. I don't think I've used him. I know what he looks like. I know he's another Delve troop, I'm pretty sure. Like, I feel like when I look... Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I feel like when I look at my troops that I haven't leveled up, I notice that's one of them, so I'm pretty sure that's like a Delve troop guy I haven't really looked at. Admittedly, this is the first time I've even used Sledgehammer. I just knew I needed someone to actually do that with. Let me see what Ethereal Sentry even does. Increase an attack by their armor. Okay, well that makes sense. So you're using him to pump up Iron Gut. Yeah, so the only problem I'd see with that team then is mana generation. Like, you've got Gimlet, which is going to be good, but then you're kind of like stuck waiting for mana some other way. I'd almost think that... I don't know, I like Gimlet in there, but I feel like you'd probably be better served with something like the Chief Dragoon Dargon guy instead of this guy. Like, this guy's definitely going to do it, but the Lightstorm isn't really helping you. Like, this is actually almost going against you. So I think that's probably the only thing that I would consider. Yeah, he's definitely good for that part. Like, he's going to turn Iron Gut immediately into, like, a Devourer. Like, you know, whatever percent chance you had is going to turn to 100 right away with the first cast of this guy. The only thing I don't like is the mana generation part of that team that you have. Like, just by running a Mang lineup, you're always going to have a really good chance of winning regardless. Like, it's not at all a bad team. I just think that mana generation is kind of harder. That's usually why I opt for something like a Mountain Crusher versus like the Mang setup for these things. Just because, at least with Mountain Crusher, it's kind of like everyone that I've got down here is going to get mana as quickly as possible. But yeah, I think it's really speed is the only issue I would have with that team. Like, it's not at all bad again. Like, you know, trust me when I say I'm not telling you that team's not going to work. It's totally going to work. I just think that probably mana generation might be one of the issues that you would have, like, towards the later ends of the fight, like in the higher levels. Not being able to get started fast enough is potentially going to be a problem. But I guess we'll see. Like, I mean, I'll totally try it. Why not? I mean, after this one, I'll run my next one with that, just to see how I like it. I don't want to deal with that. Let's just try and get Iron Gut up. Oh well. Let's get you, and then let's just curse this guy for funsies. And then blow up the board. So did you actually watch my 2-hour-long class tier list video? I have to know. I'm kind of shocked that anybody watched it, admittedly. When I made the video, it sounded like such a good idea, but then I saw a lot of comments talking about how long it was, so I got a little discouraged, thinking that maybe some folks really don't want to see that kind of content. Like, I know, like, I follow other esport games like, you know, Smash Brothers and stuff like that, so for me, watching a 2-hour tier list video, like, makes a lot of sense, but for this game being a bit of a more casual game, like, maybe people don't have the appetite for that kind of content, which I get. Yeah, it is too long. I did put timestamps in there eventually, because people were not happy with how long that video was. So I can totally get it. Can't blame you. I think my lesson learned is that I need to keep my videos probably closer to like 20 minutes, like max. I feel like 20 minutes is even stretching it. I was actually pretty happy with the latest Guild Wars video I did because I kept it like under, it was like close to 10 minutes actually, and I got as much content in there as I could. I actually ended up recording that one multiple times. I don't know why I ate that guy. Oh well. Blah blah, let's just keep going. So like, I think this is the difference between the team that you were talking about versus mine, like, I feel like I'm filling up Iron Gut pretty much like every turn at this point, so it's kind of like, I feel like this is better, or at least like more consistent. And you're going to get barriers constantly because you're just blowing up the board all over the place. So from that perspective, I think this team might be a little safer to use and a little faster. But I do want to try that team that you mentioned. It'll give me a chance to use that dude, the Sentry guy. Maybe the mana generation isn't as big of a problem as I'm making it out to be. Just kind of feels on paper that it would need to be a little faster. Oh, this is just crap. I don't like anything here. And I still don't like anything here. Oh. How long has he been full? I wasn't even paying attention. Whoops. No. I want brown. Oh, that worked out. Sure. Let's do that. That works. Yeah, the only thing I've found trouble with in this delve is that that insta-kill troop was not fun. Like, it was a level 50 delve and I actually lost somebody, which is pretty sad. So, you know, I was not anticipating just getting instantly killed like that. That wasn't fun. Yeah, see, like, Urska's Shield is something that's weird for me. Like, I saw somebody in Discord was talking about it. I actually don't like that because it doesn't really have loop potential, so it's kind of tough to recommend it. I guess I find, like, I don't generally want to use that weapon. Like, pretty much any weapon that doesn't have loop potential is kind of not fun for me. Like, loop potential in this game is pretty much everything. Like, if you don't have a team that can actually loop, like, every turn, like, have an opportunity to loop every turn, like, you're kind of setting yourself up to not be as successful. Like, that's especially true in PvP and Guild Wars, but I think even in events, like, letting the enemy do anything is kind of dangerous. So I generally try and avoid letting the enemies take turns whenever I can. So a lineup like this, you know, you'll notice even everyone in this lineup has loop potential, so from that perspective, it's pretty nice. This is the insta-kill troop, by the way, so definitely make sure you clear them first. Yeah, see, I think this is probably the difference between our teams. Like, you know, I was able to fill Iron Gut like twice right away, so that was definitely helpful. I think, you know, you're going to be able to get that mana generation a lot faster with a team like this. But yeah, this is probably going to be a shorter stream just because I was testing things. But I'm glad it works, and I was actually happy that you guys jumped on. That was actually very cool. But yeah, I mean, I'll be planning on streaming pretty much whenever I'm home, I guess. I mean, like, if I'm not doing anything else, I might as well be playing the game and streaming at this point in time. I don't know if I'm going to be able to schedule it. My schedule's kind of all over the place, so that part's not easy to do. But as far as just, you know, streaming whenever I can, I'll definitely do it. I'll probably post it on Twitter, actually. I mean, I don't really, I have, like, no Twitter followers at all. Like, I haven't tried to build up a Twitter following in any capacity, but I'll throw it in there. Actually, let me get the link. I don't know if anyone will care to have it, but I'm just at KeylineGaf. Of course, it formats it that way, but yeah, I'll probably end up what if a troop is immune to your attack? Yeah, so the team that I was just showing you, what you'd end up using is Sledgehammer for that. So if you look at Sledge or Sledgepaw, so what he's doing is cursing and bleeding someone and then stunning them. So cursing is going to let you actually be able to devour people. So that's why I put Sledgepaw in that lineup. If you were up against like that all dwarf lineup where pretty much everyone's immune, you use Sledge Paw, and then he's going to curse that person, which is then going to allow you to stun that person, which will then allow you to actually eat them. So that's why I have him in that lineup, just to protect myself against those Devour stuff. Like if I'm up against an entire Devour team, I'll still be able to devour people because of this guy. So that's why he was in that lineup. So again, real quick, just in case you missed it before, I have so many random teams. So this team was Mountain Crusher, Iron Gut, and Dargon. So I think this is kind of the lineup, and of course running that was Sentinel. With a better banner than this. Actually, the banner from the actual delve itself is really good, so the Eagle banner is perfect for that delve. But I think this is the perfect team for what you would want to use. Tons of mana generation from every single troop, minus High King himself. Attack building with this guy, cursing and stunning people with this guy. So it is a little glass cannon-y in the sense that, you know, every troop in here is just trying to enable High King Iron Gut, so in that sense, it's a little worse. Like, I like it better when you can use Queen Jezebel in conjunction with High King Iron Gut, because then you can nuke people with his attack, but this team totally works. I think this is going to scale all the way to 500. At least that's what I'm planning on doing. We'll see how successful it is, but I'm not really seeing any issue with this. Like, this being Sentinel is going to allow me to just survive and keep doing my Mountain Crusher loops. The only time I'm going to run into trouble is if I get insta-killed by that random Harpy person there. So yeah, I think this is probably your best delving option for the new delve. As far as I can tell, it's really not that bad, and I like the layout that they've gotten there. You know, that super straight and narrow thing. Like, if you were trying to farm this later on, you can just go 1, 2, 3, and it's like done. You might even be able to go 1, 2, 3 if you wanted, or 1, 2, 3. So I mean, you have an option of like taking really quick paths straight to the boss. So I think this one's going to be really easy to get to 500 at the end. But definitely make sure you do this event. Like, the rewards are pretty easy to get. Like, I ended up buying a bunch of tiers just because I wanted to get the weapon. So I mean, always make sure you go as far as the weapon. Granted, this weapon's not very good, but you kind of never know. So I mean, as far as I can tell, this weapon's going to be trash kind of regardless. I think I forget, I can look real quick to see what it's like, little stat bumpy things were, but I don't recall seeing anything good in here. Yeah, there's really nothing good in there. So, not a big fan of that weapon, but I always kind of recommend getting it anyway. But yeah, that's everything that I think I'm planning on doing for this stream. So, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I see more viewers joining, so I apologize. I was really just trying to test the streaming function here. But like I said, if you follow me up on Twitter, I'll probably post on there when I'm going live, or at least giving you some heads up when I'm going to go live. So feel free to tune in. But yeah, I appreciate you guys listening in. Hopefully you guys like the video content that I'm putting out. I'm always trying to think of new ways to inform everybody. I think I need to learn to get a little more, interesting types of content up there. I mean, right now I'm doing a ton of guides just because I think a lot of folks probably find those most interesting. And there's a lot of little things in this game that, like, you can always learn something else. Like, I'm not even positive I know everything. Like, I'm waiting for the day someone asks a question that I just have no clue. But in general, I think I have a general like grasp of literally everything. But we'll find out. I've even learned some things watching Tacit stuff. So I think we could all learn things as we keep playing the game. But yeah, definitely thank you guys for tuning in. I'll be streaming like later on. It seems like YouTube's the better platform to go to. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and stay tuned for more content and more streams in the future. So I'll see you guys. Peace.